crisp morning here in Orlando. It's warmed up to 56, but it feels colder to me. I don't know. It feels cold. We're just starting to stretch out my Gulf R a little bit. I'm not in race mode, but I'm going at a pretty good clip. I love having the windows open and the heat on. So I've got like the heat. I got my nice seat heat on. It's nice and warm in my bum. Feels good. I started off at level 3, then I come down to level 2. And 4th gear, I'll go to 5th. You might not be able to hear me with this wind. I'll still leave 4 open, but have it a little bit less windy in here. It's been windy lately too. Started at the Daytona 500. It was very windy. Very, very windy. Well, I have an update on my GTI. My GTI is back in the hospital. I had a issue when I would hit the fuel wouldn't be there. I mean, that's basically what it is. Like, you would hit it like from a stop, and it would start off like it's normal. Then as soon as you like get a little bit going, it would like hesitate, and I'm like, what the heck's that? No engine code. I'm like, man. And then I stupidly erased the engine code with my APR thing, you know. I took it out. I said, I shouldn't have done that. Fabian wants to know what it is. So I said, it's going to do it again. So I didn't want to think it would do it again. And then of course it lasted for a little bit, and it started doing it every day. So you would just turn a corner, and then it was fine. And then it showed up a fuel code, like wrong fuel mixture. So Fabian took it in. He said, it might be your low pressure fuel pump. But he said, I hope it's not your lobes. I hate when my lobes are worn. That's why I walk funny. But really, the lobes are worn. So this will be my 3rd camshaft. Just to cut to the chase. This is my 3rd camshaft. So remember, the original camshaft was ruined because I didn't know any better. I didn't know about the cam follower and all that stuff. So I wore through the cam follower, and I became stage 1 like within the first 6 months. Then in stage 1, you're doing like about 52 more horsepower than stock in APR world. That was APR on that one. And so what happens is the cam follower beats the hell out of the lobe, and it starts wearing it, and then the cam follower starts wearing. And I wore right through it. They showed me that first one. It was like a hole right through it, like the thing was sticking through it. I was like, holy hell. They called me in the back. I remember that. I was like, wow. But you know what was nice about that? The dealership knew that I was probably stage 1. Back then it was stricter too. You know, back then you had to I switch into stock mode so they wouldn't know, and then they put all their diagnostic scanners on it. It would look the same parameters as it's supposed to be. That's what was neat about APR. You had like the stock mode you could switch into. So they would look at it and go, well, we can't prove that he's stage 1. So they never did. So and we're in the South, we're in Florida. We don't even have a yearly inspection on our cars. So they're like, we'll replace the camshaft for free. I said, oh, that's awesome. So I got a new, we know what they did first, by the way. Forgot to mention that. First they put a new fuel pump in it. Because the first thing they think is, they should just do that, it's easier instead of taking the whole engine apart. So they take the fuel pump, put a new one in it, it still did it. They let me keep the fuel pump, I believe. And then I wore it again, and then that's when I think they realized it's the cam follower and the camshaft. So then I got a new fuel pump, and I remained with that fuel pump until this day. Well, not till this day, until I became KO4. That's when I got the APR built up one. I brought brand new from them, from Audi. So that fuel pump was removed when I became stage KO4. And I would religiously change the cam follower every other oil change, I believe. So that's what I did with that. And KO4 has been great. So KO4 was like the best upgrade I think I had, other than becoming stage 2. But really, from stage 2 to KO4 was way different. It was like a whole new car. It was a whole new, it behaved differently. The handling seemed better. Maybe because you're going faster. It was like more, everything you did was more acute, you know? Like, it was just great. And the way the car felt, the power, the pickup, the takeoff, everything was better. Like KO4 was like, man, it was the best upgrade of the whole time I've had my GTI. And let's face it, look how much fun I've had. I've had KO4. Now I did have the old warped, you know, head. Yeah, I did have the old warped head. Leave it to me to have a warped head. And then I had to get the engine rebuilt. But that, remember, I still kept the fuel pump and everything else. But I was still changing the cam follower. I think every other time. And I think the one time we looked at it, it wasn't even bad the other time. But maybe we should have done it anyway. But anyway, I don't think that's the issue. I think it's just over time. I think the APR fuel pump, they put a stiffer spring in it. Like, I bought it right from APR, so they made it really tough. And I think that spring is stronger than stock. And it eventually just wears the lobe again on your camshaft. So it's the intake cam. So that's what it is now. So it was sad, but you know what? We can rebuild it. So basically, I hope he gets a brand new one. I'm leaving it up to him. He might have one that he had for the race car that was hardly used, because they went from KO4 to a bigger turbo. I don't know if it's GTX or something better, but they went to a better turbo on the race car. So they might have some parts that I can use. If not, I'd rather just get a brand new one. So I'm going to get a brand new cam shaft, intake cam. Now when you do that, you take everything apart. So what you want to do is, you want to get a new timing belt. I have to get a new, you're going to be in there, right? I mean, why do it in the next year? Something else, a water pump goes or something. So they basically are going to give me a new timing belt, new water pump, probably a new pulley, because you get the whole kit. You get the cam shaft for the intake cam. You're going to get a new cam follower. You're going to get a new, well, here's what happened. I look back in my stuff that I saved, my original, really not the original, but the second fuel pump that I got, that I barely, well, I probably used it for 2 years before I became KO4. I'm trying to think, or was it a little more than that? But when I became KO4, they took it out and said, there's nothing wrong with this fuel pump. So just save it. And I remember them saying that, and I put it right back in the APR one, and it sealed it. It was like, it came in a really tight styrofoam and cover. It's been uncovered for years. I took it out. It's clean and shiny, and it looks brand new. So that's the one I gave to Fabian. He has now. So he can rebuild that one. I think he's going to use an Autotech rebuild kit. I think they retained the original spring, so we don't have to put like a tougher spring in it, which will probably save the lobes a little. But it still powerfully puts that fuel in there at a higher pressure. So you can get like 10 millibar, or whatever they call it, more fuel pressure. So it'll be better. I think it might even be, it'll exceed most of the ones on the market. I think it's got a consistent upgrade. It's probably the best one. That's what I'm hearing. So it'll be Autotech rebuild of my stock fuel pump from the second one I had. Not the original. They took that out. Probably was nothing wrong with it either. But they took that one out and gave me this one, and then I had that one until I became KO4. But good thing it's preserved, because that's something else we didn't have to buy. So that's what's going on with my GTI. I think we're going to go ahead and get a low pressure fuel pump too, because I don't want to be stuck with the old low pressure fuel pump going. Then I have to do that. And think about it. He goes, "Is that your original low pressure one?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Man, you can't fault it if it went bad." I know. I said, "Yeah." I mean, look how long it's lasted. So, and now I get in this lane, and this lane goes bad. Come on, man. But the low pressure fuel pump is easy. It's like, it hangs in the back there on the GTI. It's like, it's outside of the, it doesn't sit inside the fuel pump, full tank. It's like just sitting there. It's just hanging, it's right there. I remember seeing it. It's a little unit that's just sitting there. It's way in the back by the fuel tank, but it's attached to it. So yeah, if I get a new one of those, I think we may as well just do that too. So I think I'm getting a low pressure fuel pump just to be on the safe side. I have a new rebuilt fuel pump that's hopefully good. He's gonna check it out. If he gets in there and my one I gave him is like crap, we'll have to do something else. But I think he can do it. He can use that one. It'll be great. Because I don't think there was anything wrong with that fuel pump. I remember them telling me, they go, "There's absolutely nothing wrong with this fuel pump. Keep it. You might need it one day." I think they said like if you sell it. I don't know why. I put it back to stock or I don't know. But that's what's happening with the GTI. I'm looking forward to getting it back. I should get it back this week. So, and it should be hooked up again. I mean, it's great. We didn't want to go to more power. It has plenty of power the way it is. You don't want to go to a bigger turbo. I don't want to do any of that. And it's really a lot more expensive to get a hold. Turbos are unbelievable. If you upgrade your turbo, it's like thousands. You're talking probably $5,000 by the time you get everything going. Like if I went to like a GTX, I really kind of wanted to do that. I wanted to go to the rotating cam, like my Golf R. The Golf R has solved that problem. I have a rotating cam, so it doesn't have the cam follower where it beats the hell out of it and then can hurt your camshaft. But listen to that. I'm not even in race mode. It's my quad exhaust out the back. Sounds really good. Just naturally. I might switch to race mode so you can hear it. I'm in third gear. Moving along here, man. We'll just go a little bit through here. I'll open my window there. That's not even pushing it. That's just normal driving. But yeah, if I wanted to list all of the stuff I've got on my Golf R, I think you would like it. One guy was saying, why can't you just show us a little bit more of the Golf R? I said, okay. So we can talk about it. I can make another video. Stage 1 plus, okay, since we caught the red light, I'm going to go into race mode. But we got to be very careful. We got to look for the fuzz everywhere. We live in basically a police state under the guise of being free. We haven't been free in years, by the way. The American country we've been run by oligarchs. We didn't even know it. That's why they send all our money to all the other countries. That's why there's so much fraud, because nobody cares. And the American people are waking up, but we need to oust those people. You talk about a revolution, we need a second revolution. I think it's underway in America. So we don't want the globalist elite to control the world. We want them to go down. We believe in population. Just like the Bible says, be fruitful, multiply. That's God's plan. He doesn't say cut people off, kill people, depopulate. We want to replenish the earth, and that's what makes the earth better. More of us will create better things, and the world will be a better place. So I'm pro-human, also with Elon Musk, so and RFK Jr. and Trump. I'll just tell you that. I hope you kind of could figure that out. But I'm basically a belief for the country. I'm for each country in the world to be themselves, because even in the Bible, at the end of the world, each country brings its own glory into heaven. So that proves that each country is sovereign and separate and individual. God invented borders, okay? Anyway, we won't get into that. But yes, freedom is the most important thing. Individual freedom, freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to defend your life with whatever weapon you can grab. That is a God-given gift. The government does not give you that. I don't get any of my rights from the government. Thomas Jefferson didn't give me those things. Thomas Jefferson, in fact, told me that I already had them. All right. So, yeah, so back to the car. I'm in race mode now, so we're going to hear it when I take off here. Let's just see. I got to watch because the old camera will go flying. I'm going to tilt this a little bit. I don't know if we will. Go back to normal now. I don't want to. All right. You hear that? Watch when I go through the tunnel. Here, watch this. Ready? Now, is that real? It's real, but it's like fake as well. It's just something they do in the exhaust. Or with the fuel. I think they just make the fuel a little bit rich and you waste a little bit so it does that little sound. I don't drive around all the time like this, so I do like it though. Don't you like that? Watch. If you're ever feeling bad, just put it in pop and bang mode. Crackle and bang. Watch. Makes you feel good. Anyway, so what I also have, I became stage 2. Stage 2 is the full performance exhaust. It's the 3-inch downpipe and the full everything. So you get, I got a front-mounted intercooler from Unitronic. It's actually not a front-mounted. What it is it's a complete replacement of your stock one. So they took the stock one out, put the Unitronic one in. So it's actually more cooling capacity. It's a little bit, and there's no plastic parts on it. It's all metal. You know, tank end caps are metal. There's more cooling fins in it. I think it's 1/3 cooler. I've tried to look online to find the exact number for you, but it's basically like you have the something and it's 1/3 bigger, which is still pretty good because you got 1/3, 2/3, 3/3 would be this, and 1/3 bigger would be, so it's sufficient. It's definitely, I think I could even go with a bigger turbo in it. That intercooler would be just fine. But I figured go with what it's supposed to be. So I'm fully stage 2, and the only little thing we added is the drive-by wire, and on this one. So I've got a drive-by wire on the accelerator, and he has it at about 77%. Because 100% is crazy. You just barely touch the pedal, and so I have it about 75, 77%, and it just means that your pedal does more by moving it less. So that's a fully updated review of what's happening with my GTI. It's in the hospital. It will be coming back. And also my Golf R, which I'm driving right now. Golf R Mark 7.5, stage 2, Unitronic, crackle and bang, pop and bang, however you say. I like crackle and bang. But have a great day. Keep driving. Keep the car going, people. Because believe it or not, you think it's all for laughs. The reason they want you in electric cars is they can drive you to the prison. So keep that in mind. You would get in your car and they'll say, you know what? We don't agree with your kind. Right? That's the tolerant left. We don't believe in your kind. So they just drive you to an education camp. They've already said it. Politicians have said it, that we need to be re-educated. That I need to be re-educated. I who believe in God-given immunity. I who believe in my own body. My choice, right? Me. They want to re-educate me. You're not going to re-educate me. Wait till the truth comes out of all this. It's really sad. It's really sad that people fell for it, and that it really shows you how stupid humanity has they used to call it the dumb masses, and it really is. And the globalists expect us to be that. Don't be a dumb mass, people. Be a smartass. Be someone who stands up and resists and fights for your freedom. Not fights for some collectivism. Fights for your individual liberty and freedom. In America, you are the prophet, you are the priest, and you are the king. Remember that.